Hunter, and I'm here to talk to you about my research paper about e-cigarettes and how we should not let history repeat itself. Now, what is an e-cigarette? To sum it up, basically, it's a nicotine delivery system through a battery-operated device that people use to inhale that contains different nicotine flavorings and other chemicals. Here we have different types of the e-cigarettes. This one is a vape. This one's a little bit bigger and it produces more smoke, so as time went on, our generations and people in the business decided to make something a little bit smaller and something that's easier to hide. So this one's called a Juul, and as you can see, it's much smaller. It doesn't produce as much smoke, but it's just as dangerous. Why is it so addictive? The term was first thought of in 1963 by Herbert A. Gilbert, and he thought of a non-tobacco cigarette. Now with this not having tobacco and tar and ash, it makes the addiction process much easier. With e-cigarettes, you can add different flavorings, which I'll get to later, but as you can see, this is just a type of e-cigarette, and it says, it's obviously showing that you can add apple, strawberry, and cherry to your juice to make it much easier and better tasting, and next thing you know, you're addicted. Researchers have shown that one Juul pod, which is this right here, it's called a pod, you put it inside of your Juul device, is equal to one entire carton of cigarettes. Now you may not be getting the different tar inside of a cigarette, but it still has the same addictive qualities. As I said earlier, they come with different juices and different pods. So there's mint, mango, creme brulee, cucumber, and tobacco. Many are being tricked into thinking that they're somehow better for you because they don't have the same chemicals that are inside of conventional cigarettes, but they're still just as deadly. Now in vapes, it's people are thinking that it's pandering towards a younger demographic because you can get virtually anything inside of your vape juice, like from Sour Patch Kid to Captain Crunch, and this is becoming kind of worrisome to the FDA because it shows that kids as young as middle schoolers are now starting their addiction early, and kids who people who never had any intention of smoking and people who don't even have an addiction are starting to gain one because they think it's cool and they think it's something that everyone's doing. A quote, research has shown an alarming rate of e-cigarette uptake among adolescents, with estimates of uses tripling in just 1 year. Kids are taking to e-cigarettes, and it seems as though these companies are marketing towards their young and impressionable minds. I have a video for you explaining how this is starting to become impressionable to the younger kids.
Vape pens, Juuls. They're often marketed as safe alternatives to smoking, but their cool designs, fun flavors, and the fact that they're easy to hide means it's not only smokers who want them, it's kids. And for kids, they're definitely not safe. Teens should absolutely not use Juuls, e-cigarettes, or any similar products. Here's why. When kids use Juuls or other e-cigarettes, they're getting a big dose of nicotine. This disrupts their brain development. It changes the connections between brain cells, causing problems with learning, mood, and impulse control. It makes depression and anxiety worse.
And as any smoker can tell you, nicotine is highly addictive. That makes it very difficult to quit e-cigarettes. And vaping makes it much more likely that kids will smoke real cigarettes later. It's true that a few e-cigarette brands don't contain nicotine, but most of them do. And all of them contain other dangerous chemicals like these. Formaldehyde, which is found in glue and embalming fluid. Diacetyl, which causes lung disease. Benzene, that's a carcinogen linked to leukemia. Some tests have also found metal particles in the e-cigarette vapor. The devices themselves can also be unsafe. They can explode.
The long-term effects of using e-cigarettes are unknown.
And because there are no standards, we don't know the ingredients in these products
We don't want children to take unnecessary risks with their health.
and begin a lifelong addiction to nicotine. Talk to your kids about e-cigarettes and how to say no to these harmful products.
So as the video said, because it's not FDA regulated yet, these companies don't have to put on the packaging what they're putting inside of these devices and how it's actually affecting your body. And it's like, if you look at these vapes, like, why wouldn't a kid be attracted to this? It literally looks like a toy. They have different cartoon characters, and you can put different like skins on your Juul to make them like look more exciting, and with flavors like that are so like, it seems like it's pandering to the younger demographic. Why wouldn't kids start using e-cigarettes? Now let's talk about the specific dangers of e-cigarettes. They contain chemicals and toxins that are not good for your lungs. They have heavy metals, they have lead, cadmium, and nickel. That's just to name a few. There's hydrocarbons, and there's just so many different chemicals inside of these that we're filling our lungs up with that like literally cannot be good for you. Studies have shown and have investigated 42 different refills and different flavors, and they all have potential harmful compounds inside of them. Now, as far as talking about the dangers, it's worrisome because e-cigarettes do not market the different dangers inside of them. They actually market their cigarettes as being safer and something that's more socially acceptable. If you look at these ads, they have someone attractive on the front, and you know, it doesn't show the side effects that would be used if you were smoking conventional cigarettes. This one ad says, "Take back your freedom. Smoke virtually anywhere. No tobacco smoke, only vapor. Flavors made in the USA." This one over here, it says, "Taste and smokes better than a real cigarette. No toxic chemicals," which is a lie. No tar or yellow teeth, but studies have shown that e-cigarettes still cause oral problems. No smelly clothes because of the good flavors, and you can really smoke anywhere. And this one's scariest to me because my entire project is about not letting history repeat itself. And these two ads are literally identical. This is a picture that was taken, an ad for e-cigarettes back in the 1940s, and it's a man and a woman smoking them, just relaxing, and then it's the same thing of a modern day advertisement, and it says "Rise from the Ashes," and it's an e-cigarette by a company called Blue, and it's just convincing people and making them think that they're doing something that's good for their bodies. Now, true or false? E-cigarettes can be used as an aid to help smokers quit conventional cigarettes.
False.
You're correct. That is a common misconception. E-cigarette that they help smokers quit. More times than not, smokers just end up doing both. True or false? In 2015, e-cigarettes were the most commonly used smoking product among middle schoolers and high schoolers.
True.
You are correct again. 620,000 middle schoolers and nearly 2.4 million high school students have used e-cigarettes just in the past 30 days. Not only are they bad for you and just not around good for society, they're bad for the environment. These again are the Juul pods. When people are done and the pod juice is empty, they just throw the plastic on the ground. And I literally see these everywhere. I see them on campus. I see them just like anywhere. I see these little plastic pods and they just are left on the ground and animals eat them and they're just not taken care of the way they should be. It's filtered, the plastic are filling up landfills and they can't break down the plastic, and also they're polluting the air since. And so many believe that this is somehow like the smoke is not as bad, like as vapor, and it's just better for the planet, but that they're incorrect. This is the same thing. Like using a vape around your children is still bad for their lungs, and you can still get secondhand smoke from these devices, and this is just as bad, and many people are tricked into thinking that it's not. So let's make sure that we don't let history repeat itself, and we just remember why smoking is bad for you and why there are so many toxins and chemicals in our products. Thank you. But to recap, e-cigarettes are still a threat to society. There's more than 7,000 flavors, including fruit and sweet flavors that appeal to younger youth. They're not safe for children, and they have cancer-causing chemicals in each puff. Less than half a teaspoon of nicotine containing e-cigarette solution can be fatal to the average toddler. Most e-cigarettes contain nicotine. Nicotine is a highly addictive drug. Minors can easily purchase e-cigarettes online and at a convenience store. All you have to do is find someone who's over 18 and you can get whatever you want. And ads for e-cigarettes are targeting adolescents and appear on TV, radio, and online. So thank you for listening.